Vampire Survivors is a 2D roguelite game. Your aim is to survive for 30 minutes against impossible waves of the undead horde. In order to do this, you go around collecting the XP dropped by your enemies in order to purchase more powers and weapons. In total, you can have 6 weapons and 6 supporting items, which combine nicely to give each other a buff as you play. Interestingly, you are not in control of attacking. It all happens automatically. The weapons have a predefined rule set that they execute every time they trigger. So really your job is to wander about the map, avoiding the enemies and picking up experience whilst you choose what items you like. And at first it seems very simple for a game concept, but it actually does build up to something to be quite interesting. You are always looking for interesting combinations between your items. Most weapons can be upgraded into a evolved form using the right support item to go with them. Quite often simply makes sense. For example, the Bible you can equip that spirals around you in a damaging shield would be better if it lasted longer. So the logical upgrade to make it into its evolved form is to get the item that makes it last longer, which then means it lasts forever when you upgrade it. And this is pretty interesting. The game has a quite a familiar Castlevania 8-bit style to it. Its music is quite chiptune. All the monsters are various undead that you can see. Most of them are slightly confusing. For example, this giant sexy ghost witch, for whatever reason. And it evokes this sort of Dungeons & Dragons style Catholicism versus the undead, which I'm personally quite a fan of. I'm a particular fan of the sound design. All these weapons firing off and monsters dying as you move through the map, getting more and more intense as you go. I was still able to pick out the sound of coins being picked up, experience being gained, or the warble of the kamikaze enemies as they come in. The warning sounds of being damaged is very intuitive and very clear. As you go through the game, the hordes of enemies become increasingly ridiculous. The idea you can survive this seems even more difficult as you go through. When I first started the game, I really did struggle with it. It seems utterly impossible, really, especially once you hit 25 minutes and simply die. But I did watch a video by McQueeb where he didn't move at all the entire game. For 30 minutes he stood in the same spot. And it got me thinking really about what is the game about. It's not really a skill-based game at all. It's a strategic game. Your ability to move out the way of the monsters and the enemies is somewhat irrelevant, to be honest. If you pick the right skills at the right time, and a little bit of luck, then you can pretty much pull off surviving. It's a race at the end of it. You are racing to become as powerful as you can before the enemies overwhelm you. Being able to survive is almost irrelevant. You need to be killing monsters and enemies in order to build up your power base, because at the end of it you will be onslaughted and you need to just survive until that 30-minute mark. The game has good meta progression as well. Every time you die you keep the coins that you have earned, allowing you to invest those coins into power-ups that do help. They can be adding an extra attack, speeding up attacks. A lot of the upgrades you would get in-game can be bought additionally outside of it as well. And also there is a meta progression regardless. There is a very small amount of weapons for a roguelike game. It allows you to understand what each of them do and which one would hopefully work well. It's not as random as many other ones where you have never seen this weapon before in your life and you probably won't see it again. So building up a strategy is nigh impossible. If you ever do manage to survive it for a whole 30 minutes, the Grim Reaper turns up and kills you anyway, which is slightly disheartening if I'm honest, but does fit with the themes of the game of restarting the game. At this point I have played a ridiculous amount of this game. I thoroughly enjoy it. All the combinations I can build up are engaging and interesting. And I was surprised to go back to find it was an early access game. I think it is well worth it at this point. There's no bugs, there's no flaws. They do intend to add more content to the game, but I've definitely got my money's worth out of it. So all in all, I thoroughly recommend Vampire Survivors.